Really excited to have Joy Villa coming on this podcast. Really big name guest for us, and I appreciate her taking the time. It's a crazy day here in New York City. Things are definitely a little different, yet Gotham Podcast Studio is open. So I'm here. Chris, you're over there.
I'm here in the snow, in the dang snow in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, we're going to make this thing happen somehow. But before we get to Joy, Fort Scott Munitions sponsors every single episode of ours. We're so glad to be associated with them. Great people, great brand. They're a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states. And as you were saying to me, Chris, things are selling out pretty quickly over there with what's going on.
Yeah, if you see ammunition, you get out there and check it out, guys. You'll see that just like the toilet paper and the Purell, ammunition is being bought up like crazy. I don't know why, guys. I'm telling you all to calm the hell down. But for the ammunition companies and Fort Scott in particular, make fantastic ammo. If you are getting it from Fort Scott, which I always recommend you should, just be advised that there's probably going to be about a week or so delay in getting you your ammo because they are just getting swamped with orders, which is a good thing for them. Fantastic. We want the economy to go well. We want people's businesses to stay rolling. I'm glad they're doing well. But if you're ordering it from Fort Scott, which I highly recommend you do for home defense and hunting, just be advised that it may be a week or so longer than it had been in the past if you've ordered with them before, or if you haven't before, just add an extra 7 days on there just so because they're trying to fill orders as fast as they can.
All right, well, thanks for letting people know that. It's FortScottMunitions.com. Use exclusive promo code Battleline, one word, of course, for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the podcast. FortScottMunitions.com, FortScottMunitions.com. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and this podcast right here, the Battleline Podcast. Let's hit the music and get right into it.
On the microphones, pure and uncensored American straight talk. Never quit. You're locked and loaded with Chris Peranto and Ian Scotto. This is the Battleline Podcast.
Episode 19, and as I said in the intro, a very different New York City at the moment, but Gotham Podcast Studio is still open, so I came in and we're still rolling along here. It's been a pretty crazy week for I think all of us in the country.
For me it's just business as usual. I'll be honest, guys. I've done 4 speaking events in the last 2 weeks. I was in California, in Kansas City. I was in Fort Worth, Texas. I just spoke in Indiana, right outside, northeast Indiana, which is near Chicago there. And guys, and Ian and I will have differences of opinion here because I see the world a little bit different because of what I've been doing. I've been shaking hands. I've probably shook 2,000 hands in the last 2 weeks. Flown in, I don't know how many airports I've been in. DFW. I was out in Palm Springs Airport and Denver's airport. I've been walking around with all this stuff, and I'm fine.
You're going to be fine because this is the calm before the storm. But a month from now, it's going to be a lot different. I don't believe
that bullshit either, dude. But that's me.
I
don't believe that crap.
Here's what it boils down to, and I'll be honest. The past few days, I've really, I think, like most of us, have, done a little bit more research, and we've also learned a lot more in the past few days. And I think the big problem is, from what we know, most of us are going to get the coronavirus. The problem is most of us will be fine, but once we're around the senior population, anyone who has a weakened immune system, that's really the issue. So, I mean, I just think about the fact that my grandmother at one point, who, is no longer with us, but was, in a home with people, a lot of people in those positions who have families in hospitals and family in, assisted living facilities. It's probably going to be a while until you get to visit them, and it's going to be pretty crazy for those type of situations. So,
it's an adjustment, and just like when I think people forget when we had the swine flu, when you had H1N1. Go look at the stats on if you want to doing your research. And I don't listen to some subject matter expert. Don't even listen to one on our podcast. We have one on. Go do your research. Look at the deaths. Look at who contracted it. Look at the comparisons. Man, swine flu was bad as shit. People didn't even realize. They didn't even think about it. We didn't do any sort of travel bans, no stoppages, nothing like that. And it was pretty severe if you look at the numbers in comparison. I'm not saying that this is like the flu. This is the flu on steroids.
The problem is the amount, the rate at which it's going to spread, and then also the death rate is astronomical.
The rate it's going to spread based off a calculation of what we're seeing right now. Who's getting it right now that we can affirm, right? Are we figuring it out now? We're putting us just like the swine flu got the same thing. And I don't know what age you were at that time. I was still deploying when that was going on, and I was actually concerned if you have ulcerative colitis, your immune system is wrecked. That's how come you have to get out of the military, because you are more likely or have more of a chance to contract a disease in a foreign country or wherever else because your immune system is not working correctly. So when the swine flu came out, I didn't say anything to anybody, but I was like, oh crap, well, I'm deploying all the time. I may get something. Well, what am I going to do? Can't do shit about it. Let's keep working. And not say you don't take the necessary precautions, wash your hands. Well, shit, that's what makes me laugh more than anything. We've been taught to wash our hands since kindergarten. What the hell? If this is anything benefit that's come out of this right now, it's that, and I see that in the airport. Every man, after taking a piss in the urinal, is washing their hands. Now, where in the past they didn't. So there is a blessing around this. I do believe, because I do think people are going to start taking better care of themselves and not taking their health for granted, which is a good thing. That's a benefit. That's a silver lining. But I also think that we've blown this. We've made it. And you and I talked offline. A person has common sense. A person uses their head. People as a group don't. They're chaotic. They panic, and I've seen it. Panic breeds panic. I've seen that in the battlefield too. Panic breeds panic. When one person panics, it's like a fire.
Yeah, I would say in New York City, it's not necessarily a panic here, but it's certainly a different vibe. It's a very different vibe right now.
And that's just people with the panicking. I would attribute that not to the but news media itself. That is people, because that's a bunch of people. Whether you're together or not, you're still watching that same.
Yeah, no, but it's not a panic. I don't see people. I just think most people are being cautious. But when I hear about people going on like bar crawls, you use your common sense, people. Like that is the last thing anyone should be doing.
I was thinking about that, Ian. I say the bar crawls. Okay, so March and April basically have been closed. March and April are closed.
And here's my opinion here. I think June, July, we're going to be closed for a while.
Well, if it is, but if you look at May, you know what the ironic thing about it? What is the first holiday in May? Cinco de Mayo. What are you going to drink? A Corona. There you go, man. Get out of the way for Cinco. I was thinking about that going, how ironic is that?
It is.
Somebody's going to buy into that. Hey, we should get credit for that if a Corona takes that commercial. That's us. We thought of it here at Battleline. That's us, right?
We'll see where things go, man. But be safe out there, guys, for sure. But anyway, man, yeah, it's been interesting. I think this has affected business for a lot of people, it's so much different than what you and I were talking about just a few weeks ago. It's a very different mood in the country right now, and everybody's kind of glued to what's going on and keeping track of the situation. And
well, keep doing it. The mood. Hey, you can't control what everybody else does, but you can always control your mood and attitude. Ian, my mood's the same, and I've lost some speaking events, and that's a big, huge chunk of my
Yeah.
stuff. But a lot of them have been rescheduled too already. I mean, people, the businesses, yes, they're going to get hit. Our economy's going to get hit because people aren't spending money. It's going to, it happens. It's the ebb and flow. My mood is the exact same. It's like, okay, well, let's just adjust fire and do what we need to do now. It's just we've got to stop going out there and buying all the toilet paper, getting crazy, buying all the Purell, and doing all that craziness, buying all the ammo out there. I don't know what the hell that's about, man. Protecting your toilet paper,
they should buy all the ammo if they're going to FortScottMunitions.com. Offer code Battleline.
Exactly. Going to make your TP for it, but for the most part, guys, just like Ian said, use your common sense. A pub crawl on St. Paddy's Day probably is not very smart to do, but hey, if you want to do it, that's on you. But just be prepared. If you catch something, that's don't blame anybody else.
Yeah, and I would say if you do it, please don't hang out around elderly people. That's what I'm concerned about. Young people, you'll be fine. But please don't go to a hospital like that.
Yeah. No, so, you're right, bro. You're right, brother.
Anyway, but beyond that, though, anything else going on in your world other than I know you've been traveling a lot of speaking engagements.
I really enjoy that because you do see people and you get around them and you get out of the social media world where you can see in social media where people are panicking and this and that, but then you get into the real group of people where you go talk to 300 business people, or you go I talked to an at-risk school fundraiser, which was awesome. That was fantastic.
So you've been doing a lot of that, it seems like.
Oh yeah. You do. I've been very lucky in a lot of public speaking and being around people and just looking them in their eyes. And I think they even look to, because you're the focal point. I'm the speaker. I'm coming in. They're looking at me to see how I'm going to react as well to things. And I don't downplay it, but I also don't, hey, go get ready for the apocalypse. It's just like I'm talking to you, Ian, just like I'm talking to you now. Hey, if it happens, it happens. Adjust it. Get used to it. Work through it. Stay positive. Wash your damn hands. Blow your nose if you need to. After you do that, wash your hands again. Just do what you were taught. Your mom taught you in kindergarten, and you're going to be fine, and the world's going to be fine, and we will continue to turn. And you can see a relief that comes in. And I honestly believe that. So it's good. It's good getting out there because I feel – I make the fun stuff on Instagram and Facebook because I think that's fun. Some people go a little bit too far. I'm trying to keep it in the fun zone, kind of the little bit of passive aggressive fun zone. But when I'm out there, no, I want people just to remain. If I can help anybody at all remain calm through this whole thing, even if in my little world, whether I have that sort of pull at all, I don't know. But if I can remain positive, then I'm going to. And I've been able to do that in the last, these speaking events. I just wished the I had 4 that canceled, 2 rescheduled, which is great. The other 2 will reschedule eventually. I just wish we would have been able to have that. But I also do believe, just like you do as well, it's better to be safe than sorry. If of course, big crowds, probably right now it's not a smart time to have these big events because of the crowds around, and you just never know. Nobody's panicking, but as a business world, you have to be careful, because if somebody does in a company catches something that gets around. And I look at it this way: not only could you get the whole company sick, and that could help, but brother, you know how many cases of people would sue their companies, and that's the bad side. And people can disagree with me on that. I don't think that's the case. I think if somebody caught something at one of these conventions, they could sue whoever that convention was or that company and say, you knew this was going on and you still had it because, well, shit, since the McDonald's lady burned her lips on a cup of coffee and said it was hot and won millions of dollars, look at that Pandora box we opened there. But it's smart. It's smart on a business way. Safety first, but also they're also got to watch just in case their bottom line, and it's a lesser of 2 evils.
A lot. You know what's now that you're saying this, I got to tell you something you'll find funny probably. So everything in New York City is canceled. So like Friday, I was supposed to see Jerry Seinfeld with my parents. That was like my Hanukkah gift to them. Which, by the way, that in itself sounds super.
Awesome. Dude, what a son you
are.
But
I was going to say, that sounds super Jewy in itself, seeing Seinfeld for Hanukkah present. So that was canceled, of course. It's funny. I was telling my mom, I was like, I think this thing's going to be canceled. And she's like, what, do you want it to be canceled? Sure enough, next day, canceled. Yeah. So here's the funny part, though. I bought those at Madison Square Garden at the box office there. And when I bought them, I realized, so this is a few months back, when I bought them, I realized as they make you go through the metal detectors and all that stuff, that I had a pocket knife in my bag that I always carry. And I was like, shit, they're not going to let me in through here. And they let me in. And I just told them, oh, hold my bag. And then they gave me the wrong date. So I went back through there with the bag with the pocket knife. And they held my bag again. And then I realized I brought the tickets in today to return because that's the point of purchase. And as I'm going through these metal detectors again, I just think about it because I never get rid of this pocket knife in my bag. And I'm like, shit, I have the pocket knife in my bag again. So I told them, just hold my bag. And they're like, oh, sorry, sir, we can't hold your bag. But they glanced at the screen and they were like, you're good to go, which tells me none of this security does anything.
Does it? Oh my God, that's crazy. So 3 times you got there with the knife? Three
times. Yeah, this is the 3rd time I went through with a bag, with a pocket knife, like a good one. And they have not detected anything. So I've always said, man, all this security ramping up even since 9/11, I don't think it does a damn thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like, I think that a lot of these people are pretty much asleep on the job.
Or it's a mental thing. They make you feel good, make you feel comfortable, make you feel safe, which is good. That's not a bad thing. We don't want panic out there. You never want panic. Panic does nothing for you. But yeah, if there is a means to an end as far as keeping us safe, I want to make sure TSA is catching that pocket knife. And I give TSA a lot of shit because of much I travel too, man. But that being said, I'd rather wait in line a little bit longer, make sure they're checking everything, than have me fly through and then somebody gets on the bag with a freaking knife. Because how did they on 9/11 did they take over the plane with a box cutter?
Yeah,
it wasn't with anything more than a box cutter. So yeah, that's not a good thing. But it's also I can laugh at right now at this stage in our week, brother. I think that actually is kind of funny, comical in a negative sort of way. But it's ironic.
We've mentioned Pantera on this podcast before. I remember I saw Pantera's last ever tour shortly before 9/11. It was just a couple months, or it may have even been a month before 9/11 happened. And I remember my dad always telling me when he picked me up from that show, like the way that he just walked right in. No one checks a damn thing. And within a month, it's like you really think about how much our lives changed, at least here in New York City. It's a pretty drastic change. But yeah, it's just, I would have loved to have seen Seinfeld. It'll get rescheduled.
Yeah,
I'm a big, I don't know if you were a fan of the show Seinfeld.
Seinfeld's, of course. It's hilarious. Just the quick humor and they poked fun. That was when shows really poked fun at everything. It wasn't poking fun at the left. It wasn't poking fun at the right. It was poking fun at just everything. And that's when comedy was, I think that was the last great time of comedy, where now it's just a political slant one way or the other. They're hitting one side or the other. Which Seinfeld, I think Jerry Seinfeld. Tell me if I'm wrong, Ian. You probably know better than me, but I think he probably does lean more left than he does right.
I don't even know where he leans politically, but he has definitely taken a stance against the political correctness. He's been pretty open about that. It's getting out of control.
Well, that's the guy that needs to speak out about to fix it. Guys like myself aren't going to help any because I'm politically incorrect, regardless, in a negative sort of way where he is politically incorrect, but he makes people laugh with it. In comedy, you have to have that. That's real comedy. Watch, for those that want to see political incorrectness, watch George Carlin and how funny he is, and his little clip on when he used to swim in sewers, swimming in raw sewage. That actually clip would fit. We're going to post it. I'll find that and post it on our Battleline podcast page. That is one of the most hilarious clips of stand-up comedy I've ever seen about how they're immune to everything because they used to swim in raw sewage there in New York City and whatever. But it's so true, man. That's how you build up immunity. That's what I worry about too. All these people washing and cleaning. We've got to build up our immunities, and the way you build up your immunities is you got to get sick. Remember when we used to eat dirt? How do you think us kids grew up eating dirt and didn't get sick very often? Because we were always getting into stuff and our bodies had to adjust to all that. Now we got the immunities built up and now we're superhuman. Well, watch that George Carlin thing and that'll apply. And a lot of you older people like myself, I'm almost 50, so I'm getting up there. I just laughed because it was right. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never washed my hands. I fell in a septic tank once playing hide and go seek. I didn't catch anything. It would fit nowadays to it. I think it fits at this time. It will make people laugh and find some perspective, especially those out there that are losing their minds.
Did you see the latest Sticks and Stones Dave Chappelle stand up? Because he goes way hard on the PC people.
He is, dude. I saw that. I love Dave Chappelle. I don't care. I don't care what side he stays. I could care less. The dude is funny and he hammers it. That was hilarious, brother. I watched it. I wish we could pull scenes. We had time to just like talk about Dave Chappelle and actually recreate that whole stand-up, that whole thing he did.
The LGBT driving the car.
LGBT, oh my gosh, it was hilarious, and he gets away with it. And you, like I said, you are more in tune a little bit with that than I am. So I don't want to get it wrong because I always am getting the music stuff wrong now. So that's what I'm going to defer to you a little bit to help me. But isn't that one of the reasons he really did leave and left Hollywood is because of the just the PC stuff going on? I know he's a big pot smoker, big deal. I mean, so he is. But I want to say that's one of the reasons why he stopped doing his show and he moved to Africa. He actually left the U.S. and had a residence in Africa for many years, and now he's starting to come back on the scene. And I love it because he's bringing some balance back to and bringing comedy back to comedy. Because like I said, comedy. Trevor Noah, I try to watch that. Jon Stewart. Yeah, I know he's left, but he had some funny stuff in there, and he would hammer things. Trevor Noah's just terrible. I mean, I don't care what side. It's just not funny because it's always something political. It's like, geez, can you do something other? Because it's just getting old.
Yeah. So I agree. And I could laugh at stuff that's on the other side. I mean, I think a lot of stuff Bill Maher has done recently has been actually really funny. But yeah, Trevor Noah does not make me laugh. And he's also, I felt like he was the wrong pick for that job because he is originally from Africa. And Jon Stewart, and the reason I say this, Jon Stewart was really well versed on American politics, like him or not. And I feel like to just go into a new country and kind of immerse yourself in that world, you have to know your stuff.
You do, and he doesn't. People say there's never going to be another Jon Stewart. Well, the Tonight Shows continue to go on. There's never going to be another Johnny Carson. There's never going to be another Jay Leno. Now, Jimmy Fallon is outstanding. You can do better. That's a trick with Comedy Central. You can do better than that, especially when you've got a Jon Stewart. And Jon Stewart, whether he has left or not, his buddy Adam Sandler's not, and they get along just fine, and they make some great ass movies. Those two together when they used to make movies. So
yeah. Are you thinking Big Daddy?
I think if you ever watch Adam Sandler movie, always him and Jon Stewart's always in there in some. Even in what's the golf movie? Billy Madison. His caddy, if you don't recognize that's right. Jon Stewart. That's Jon Stewart. He's always playing either a main role or he's always has a little cameo and you'd never recognize him somewhere in an Adam Sandler movie, along with the rest of the Adam Sandler buddies that are
Rob Schneider.
And if you ever watch Grandma's Boy, basically that is all the Adam Sandler buddies that making a movie without Adam Sandler. And Grandma's Boy is one of the most hilarious movies.
So funny.
Oh, it's hilarious. So yeah, bro, I'm completely agreeing with you, man. Comedy doesn't need PC. Comedy doesn't need politics unless you're going to really just make fun of the both sides of it, not just one. Because you can tell when they're coming across that way. We're left wing and we're going to make fun of the right. We're right wing. We're going to make fun of the left. It's when a comedian can come in, whether they are right or left, and just make fun of it all. And Jon Stewart was able to do that. He did say something about Benghazi once.
Yes, I remember. It was wrong.
It was, and I did. I remember that's when I had that tweet, and I had quite a few followers, and I tweeted. I said that, and I wasn't a dickhead. I don't think I was, and I was a dickhead quite a bit on Twitter. It's hard not to be, but I said it was, and whether he saw it or not, or whether somebody in his staff saw it or not, I never saw him say anything again. Right after I said, "Hey, man, that's effed up," whatever, and I gave a reason for it. I can't remember specifically what it was, but I never saw him say anything negative like that again about Benghazi. Yeah, he may have said something about the election or Trump, but so I was thinking, well, maybe he saw that, and I could see him, and I don't know him. Maybe you give the wrong, but my impression was if it really talked about death and you really hit something there, which I don't think he knows much. He, of course, knows about much war or death. Maybe he does. I don't think so. But he's the type of guy that would say, okay, you know what? I really feel this way. You know what? I was wrong. I won't say that again. That's what I get that feeling that he would do. But I don't know. And maybe we get him on the show one of these days and ask him. Shit, that'd be great, man.
Oh, man, that would be amazing to get Jon Stewart in here. And you know what? His last interview with Howard Stern, I really loved. I actually mentioned it on the show with Frankie Palmieri, which you weren't on. But he said a lot of things that you and I are in total agreement on. He was talking about the woke people on Twitter, the air quotes woke people on Twitter. And what he said was true. He was like, there's literally people in, New York City now who are tripping over homeless people in the streets, tweeting because they're outraged someone used the wrong gender pronoun. And what he said was true. He was like, no matter how woke you are, you need to sleep sometimes.
That's gosh, why can't I ever think clever shit like that? I can never say that. That's perfect. But no, I that's why I enjoyed watching him. Even whether, and that was even when I was heavy in the heavy for me, which is still not very heavy, but heavy into politics during those 3 years after Benghazi, and I came back and I was a little angry. But I could still watch him, and I knew what side he was on, but he still made me laugh. It still was like, that's hilarious. And he still would hit the other side. He still would hit both sides. And I just wish comedians would do that. Even Saturday Night Live. I can't watch Saturday Night Live anymore. It's not funny. And back in the day, yes, of course, they made fun of conservative. Look at the Dana Carvey and George Bush. Oh, yeah. My gosh, that is hilarious. Oh, but then you get who's the guy that would make fun, that played Bill Clinton? That dude was hilarious. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It was, and then, so, and then when even Will Ferrell would play the second George Bush, oh my gosh. And so they would just poke fun at everybody, where now it's a left wing poke at right. And it's not funny.
They've done some stuff with the Democratic primaries. I thought was pretty decent. And they did bring Will Ferrell back. He did Tom Steyer, and he did a pretty funny Tom Steyer. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to YouTube that, because I pretty much just turned it off. I tried to watch it I'd say about probably 6 months back, and I just like, gosh, I want to, because Saturday Night Live, to me, I grew up on that, man. That's like Americana to me. So having to lose that really kind of bummed me out, because it's like something you look forward to. When we didn't have cable, all we had was syndicated TV. Even as a kid, if you were able to stay up late on Saturdays, that's what you wanted to stay up and watch Saturday Night Live. So I hope they do. I hope they did. Like, kind of change that format up, where now they're just being funny again, instead of being trying to be politically funny all the time. Because I do miss that. I do miss the old Eddie Murphy hot tub days, James Brown. That was hilarious, man. Stuff like that. And Buckwheat and Otay and all that. You don't see that much anymore. But again, how many Eddie Murphys are there ever going to be either? So maybe that's why.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite era was probably, the Chris Farley era, and how Adam Sandler could not. He could never hold back his laughter in those skits.
The van down by the river with him, yep. Chris Farley, remember that? And they had Christina Applegate was with a guest host, and David Spade was sitting there, and they were just fighting to not die laughing during that whole skit. Oh my God, you're right, brother. I have to say that's pretty damn close, because it's Chris Farley, Adam Sandler. That's when you had the gentleman, and he was always on Pee Wee's Playhouse too, and he got his wife killed him, and he was awesome.
Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman. That was again another incredible all-star cast of comedians. But remember the comedy that they did. It wasn't. They had political bits in there, but it was just funny. It was just that's the kind of motivational coach I strive to be, is Chris Farley and the guy at the van.
Yeah,
definitely. So, but they, maybe all this, and catastrophes always seem to bring Americans together, and I would consider this, whether I believe it's a catastrophe or not, it is bringing chaos into America, and that always tends to bring people back together.
Yeah, and that's why I wish you could go to a comedy show right now. But I saw Jerry Seinfeld's statement, and what he said was good. Maybe I could pull it up in a little bit, but he because I'm just not at my phone right now. But he basically said, let's schedule this for another time where our minds aren't racing with this stuff, and that we could sit back and really enjoy this. And I thought that was in good taste, and there will be a time where they reschedule. And the comedy scene in New York is strong, and they're really getting hit hard. Musicians getting hit hard. Frankie from Amura was on the podcast, and we talked about all these big festivals they were doing. All those festivals are getting canceled. They were supposed to play Europe. All the European tours are canceled. So these guys are getting hit hard, and a lot of them really do live month to month. Frank is in a big touring band, but they're not Slipknot, they're not Korn. He'd be the first to say that, and this hurts those guys.
They just knuckle down. People will find a way. We are resourceful. That's how come we're the United States of America. That's how come we are who we are, and we have the reputation that we do, is that we are resourceful. We'll figure it out. And that's where I want to, as a talking head on our podcast, I'm going to tell people out there, don't sweat it, relax. Everything always works out. Have faith. Just things are, do things a little bit differently. You're going to have to cut, you can't like be frivolous with your money. You've got to be, is it frugal now? Am I using those two right? I always mix them up. You have to be frugal with your money. But that's okay. And guess what? Guess what this also does? Positive thing. You got to be home with your family. I get it. That's what I see. With all these events that I got canceled this month, I'm going to lose a good chunk of change. Big deal. I get to be home with my family for almost 3 weeks straight. I have to go to Vegas to teach one Battleline course, a shooting course. I get to come back, and I have nothing. Since everything got canceled, I got nothing going on till April 12th. That's awesome, man. I mean, I get to be home. And that's what I think people should look at. We spend all of our time out there running around trying to stay out of the house, now you get to be in the house. Watch a movie. Enjoy time with your kids. Enjoy time with your family. If you're single like Ian, you tell them. Yeah, you tell them what you're going to do. I know you're a single guy, but I know you're going to find a way to enjoy this time. So yeah, man, just look at it as a different lens, and that it's not all bad. You get to do things that you haven't done because you don't have time to do. Like myself, which I get it. I'm going to clean. You know what I'm going to do? I haven't done it, and I enjoy doing it. I'm going to clean my whole house. And as soon as this storm this week, because we had snow. Thanks again for Nebraska. I appreciate the snow here in spring. As soon as the snow melts, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to aerate my lawn, and I'm going to actually do some yard work because I don't get to do that. I haven't done that in 3 years because I've been so damn busy.
Before we get to Joy Villa, Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC-spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed-out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through fortscottmunitions.com. Use the exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. And also, I have to mention Thadia, since we have Joy Villa coming on this podcast, which we'll get into with her. Joy is sponsored by Thadia, and if you haven't heard yet or worn the apparel brand Thadia, then you need to experience the brand. Thadia is the first apparel brand to literally mean courageous and brave. It's what we seek from ourselves, from the heroic individuals who protect us, to the athlete, and to the everyday individual. Thadia represents the courage and bravery within us all. Thadia has taken its profound meaning and combined it with enhanced tech apparel to give individuals the unique apparel brand that reflects their own courage and bravery. No longer are the words courage and bravery only used to describe the actions of individuals. Now these words are ingrained within the apparel you wear. Check out Thadia online at Thadia.com and experience the brand of the courageous and brave and the KTP apparel line, the apparel line dedicated in the name of former U.S. Army Ranger and 2012 Benghazi survivor, the guy on with me right now, Chris Tonto Peranto, and that's how you got hooked up with them, and I'm interested in hearing how Joy got hooked up with them.
Yeah, we'll basically, I hope we'll ask her. We'll figure out what it is, and we'll put a little pitch in there for Thadia. And again, I love their stuff, and I didn't even know how Joy got hooked up with them, so it's going to be good to hear from her exactly how she became part of Thadia. But she just brings strength to the group, to the brand. I think even more so than I do. I'm an ugly SOB. She's not. So
that's why they need your wife and Joy.
Yeah, exactly. You know who the talented? Do you see more of the ads now? It's her and my wife, not me anymore. I'm no longer in there. It's like, Tano, you're good. We got what we need. But fantastic stuff, and I think it's the best workout gear, especially the T-shirts out there as well. Form fitting, not the compression stuff, but it is just comfortable, and it wicks sweat very, very well. And I run in them, guys, and I'm an avid runner outside, so I can tell you the truth that it still holds together well, even though it's not that compression material after sweating a ton in it. So definitely check it out.
For sure. Apparel brand should be more than just performance-based, and fortunately now it can be said. Mission accomplished. Thadia, inspired by the heroic and worn by the courageous and brave. Follow Thadia on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and visit them online at thadia.com. Let them know that we sent you. With that, Joy Villa. I think there's so much to talk about. I mean, you being in California, I'm in New York City. It's definitely a different mood right now, which I'm sure we'll get into. But the way that I was introduced to you really is, I think, the way most of America was, the infamous Make America Great Again dress at the 2017 Grammys. From there, it's like everybody heard your name. And I'd love to hear the backstory of just you getting started in the music industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love this. Well, first of all, it's such a pleasure to be here on Battleline and to talk to you guys.
Don't lie. Don't lie to us. Flattery will get you nowhere. You know that.
So I'm not lying. But yeah, I got started because I've actually been acting since I was 5 years old. I started in musical theater. So I sing, I dance, and I act. I write music and I perform. And when I was 5, I got bit by that performance bug, and I was in a Christmas play, I went to a Christian school, Maranatha Christian Academy in Orange County. I was born in Orange County, and then we moved to Manhattan. We moved to Santa Barbara, and I would split my time in Manhattan and Santa Barbara. Very beautiful places. But I consider myself a New York girl because we go to New York for auditions. We go down to Los Angeles. It was down for us, Northern California. It's more northern, the beach, Santa Barbara. And I just kept going with it. And my parents, God bless them, they passed away, but they always said I could be an artist, and I am an artist, and they validated me. And they never said, get a real job, like a lot of people get that all the time. Because I do believe artists create the future. We are leading the example, and all of us can be artists. We can all be creative and let the creative spirit flow. So I got into it, and I just kept going. I was just that theater nerd. And I didn't think I was hot or anything, or I was a nerd. I didn't know how gorgeous I was. But then it just evolved from there, and I never stopped. And I started touring. I've toured 25 countries once I put music first, because I thought acting's the thing. And then I put acting kind of aside and mainly, and I did CSI New York, and I was in Heroes. And then I started pursuing music, and that took off. And then it led up to my being a member of the Recording Academy, being invited in 2015, walking my first Grammys. People still didn't know who I was much until 2017, when I proudly proclaimed and, showed my support for President Trump.
Actually, I have that problem, not the support for President Trump, of being, too good looking, and people just, I have that same thing. I get it everywhere I go.
I'll tell you this, I didn't realize really how fit Joy was until, I've seen the pictures on Instagram, because I think.
Wow. Thanks for pointing out tall.
No, it's true. If you look on Joy's Instagram, you must have an intense fitness regimen.
We need to talk about that too. Because we have a lot of female listeners, and that are new to the fitness, and we got to talk about that. Yeah, definitely throw that in there. What you do and what do you recommend?
Right now, let's do it. Oh my!
Oh yeah.
Well, listeners, this is Joy Villa. Fit and sexy. So first of all, I'm vegan. Which, I know you meat-eating men are not going to approve of.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, I'm not one of those. Oh,
I'm one of those, okay? Suck it up, Buttercup. 16 years.
All right.
Honestly, it's amazing because I'm lactose intolerant, and I do it for the physical reasons because my skin glows, but I also do it for the environment. I put my money where my mouth is, unlike a lot of liberals, and I do it for animal welfare. I love animals and always have, and I couldn't dream of eating them. So that's my regimen is being a vegan, but then I eat healthy. I eat high protein vegan, lots of beans and rice and meat replacements, and then I'm very, very active. And this is one of the biggest things because you can still be a fat and sloppy vegan. but it does start with diet, and you can be a fit meat eater. I'm not a hater. I'm not saying you have to be perfect like me. But,
oh Lord, here! Oh my gosh, it's the talent. I didn't know we were going to have the talent on today. I thought I was the talent. You're just cutting me down.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my Lord! And eating a lot of beans. I don't know if that can't be good. You don't have a roommate, do you? You're by yourself, so you're okay with all those beans and stuff.
Myself, so don't.
There you go. Good. As long as you don't have any class, you can be fit and think. Just tell everybody how fit you are. But if you can talk about poop and farting, you're still good in my book. That's all you got to do. No class. That works.
That's literally 25% of my day. With my friends, my family, we're very open about that. My dad does that. But I'll tell you, one of the biggest things, especially for your female listeners to do, is to get into weightlifting.
Yeah.
It has transformed my body. And I know we're not doing video after I spent 2 hours doing my makeup and my hair.
Okay, here's what we're going to do, though. Before you get into this, we'll get it back to this. I'm going to take it because I got you on video. I'm going to screenshot it. And then we're going to use that for our ad, for our promotion. Joy Villa, here you are. So here, give me your best pose, and I'm going to screenshot it right now.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Got it.
Awesome.
Done.
We will at some point figure out the video element, but it's just like Chris being in Omaha, me being in New York.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But no, and I do the question is, who are you trying to impress, me or Chris?
Both of you guys.
But keep going with the fitness. I didn't want to cut you off because I'm a big fitness guru too.
Yeah.
And I really important.
Absolutely. So the most important tip I can give, especially the women, is to weight lift. Women lose bone mass after 35, and it's so important to build up. You start losing the bone mass you've already built up, but it's never too late to keep building. Lifting weights, women have this false idea that you're going to get bulky, that you're going to get too big. I mean, that is so ridiculous because, first of all, women genetically, and I can still say I'm genetically a woman, and there are two genders. There are two genders. We're going to say it. I'm saying I don't care if you cancel me for it. CNN News at 11, Joy Villas, we're bigoted.
Oh, yeah, we had no friends at CNN, or I'll be honest, Joy, we got no friends at CNN or Fox anymore, so you say whatever you want. That's what we're here for. You keep going. I like it. Keep going.
Love it. So, as a woman, though, I am genetically predisposed to depose. I don't know.
Predisposition.
I have less testosterone. So even lifting weights is going to be harder for me to build muscle. And I know this because I competed in bikini bodybuilding.
I did not know that.
Third place. I won third place.
Where? Which one? Which one? I cut you off. Which one?
NPC. So
did you really?
Committee.
Yeah.
I want to earn my pro card. I want to do another show, and it's so fun and glamorous and girly. But yet, your fitness woman, like you, I gained a lot of muscle. Like my shoulders, my arms were always very thin, but I always, had a nice back and fit legs. But it wasn't as, and I had a tight stomach, but it wasn't as like. I didn't have the perfect hourglass. I'm going to tell you, ladies, lifting weights will give you that perfect hourglass. Building muscle burns fat. It takes up less space than fat. So you might actually weigh more on the scale. I weigh a lot more than people think, but I'm lean, I'm tight, I'm toned. And really the whole idea of toning is you're building muscle. Lift weights, put down those pink weights. If they're cute and girly, stop the little videos. I'm sorry about the Tracy Anderson method. I don't mean to throw her under the bus, but they're just like posing. And I'm like, okay, you're burning calories because you're doing cardio. Cardio is important, but weightlifting is going to maximize everything. And it's going to shred your body up and you're going to look gorgeous. It will not make you bulky. It'll give you a meat where you want it, right? Shoulders and booty and a tight little waist. And everyone's happy when women are happy with their bodies, and weightlifting also makes you your healthiest, beautiful form. It's not about being skinny. It's not about looking perfect. It's about being your healthiest. So that's what I do.
No, you're spot on. With muscle mass, and you get muscles, you get that mass, you replace that fat. resting. You're burning while you're resting. And I totally agree with you on a woman's body. Shoulders. People think, oh, what do you waist? And if your shoulders are popping, that's what makes that taper that come down to that. Yeah, exactly. Here, we'll do another. We'll get another one. I got another one. Hold on. Got it. Okay, hold on. But
and you know what's funny? You talking about like the bulky look on women, which is being seen on Instagram here. Those women, just like the guys that we talk about on the show, Chris, they're on HGH if they look like that.
Yeah. That's not what Joy's talking. Not at all. Women out there, not at all. But if you're looking like a guy, that's not natural.
Bikini bodybuilding. If a woman has massive mass, she's absolutely on steroids or human growth hormone, something artificial, which is extremely dangerous. She's taking testosterone, which would just mess you up.
Yeah,
so, I don't believe in it for men. I don't believe in it for women. All natural bodybuilding is the best thing. You have incredible potential to build massive muscle mass. If you feed yourself whole foods, you eat healthy, you eat enough protein, drink water, take your vitamins, get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and you lift heavy. Ladies, don't be afraid to be ugly in the gym. Like when I'm lifting, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm growing out in the gym so that I can be a lady in the street.
You just got to watch out for them beans, then, Joy. I've seen that happen before.
Yeah, don't be behind.
But you're spot on. You're spot on. I tell people that, and I know Ian's a personal trainer, and I'm sure he probably doesn't tell them to bro out in the gym, but it is. You can put that effort into it, make those faces, and that means you're working hard.
Well, you remember, Chris, I was worried about and we talked about it on the show, the female that I train, who I had deadlifting 135, and I was like, oh, did I go too heavy on her? And trust me, she looks very feminine, guys. You're not going to look feminine. I mean, not going to look masculine, I should say, lifting heavy weights. I agree with everything that Joy is saying. It's really a combination of the two.
Thank you. And also for women, you should be working basically everything. The only difference between training for a man and a woman, in my experience, is women tend to focus on their butt more, which absolutely you should. Do some more booty exercises because we have more body fat and more that makes us beautiful, makes us have curves. And men usually focus on their chest and back more because that looks hot on a guy with the V. But you're doing the same exercises, maybe less of a progressive overload, but you're lifting heavy and you got to lift heavy. Like I'm squatting heavy. If I'm not, my body is not weak by the end of my gym session, which by the way is only like 45 minutes. 45 minutes. If I really want to go hardcore, I'll do 45 minutes or an hour of lifting and an hour of cardio. But that's like, I don't even have to do that. That's if I really want to shred. But everyone could do like 45 minutes in the gym and get an amazing workout. And we're not talking just cardio. Get off of those freaking cardio machines. It's going to just make you skinny fat.
And I hate skinny fat. And you're spot on. One day a week, I will push it hard. And I still am an avid runner. I was a runner when I was at Ranger Battalion. So, and we have to run. But you also have to be able to run with weights to your packs and stuff. So I still get out there and I'll run and then I'll come in and work out hard. But again, you're right. The gym time in the gym, 45 minutes. You don't need much more than that. As long as you're hitting it hard and you're not taking long breaks where you're talking yourself drinking out of your gallon jug.
Instagramming.
It's exactly.
Those machines where you got to sit down. I'm like, bro, you done? You got another set?
I know. You're going to get up because I got things to do here. I can't stand that. I can't stand that shit. And especially the bros that take the up shots when they're squatting. I've seen that on Instagram. I'm not trying to find them. They just pop up on my feed sometimes. Why are you taking up shots of your taint while you're Instagramming, dude? I don't want to see that, man. And they do it all the time.
Nobody wants to see that gooch up in there.
I don't want to see. And I was like, oh my gosh, my eyes are burning.
Girls do it too, though. That's the Instagram culture. It's so
sad. You're right. Actually, we should get into the Instagram culture here, if I remember down the line here before we're ended, because I want to get your take on that because you're on it. You're on it. I used to be on it a ton. Then I kind of nuked everything when I wanted to go dark a couple years ago.
Instagram real quick. I'm just kidding.
Did you seriously just do that? Everybody, we're talking about Instagram, and she just went on her Instagram and started ignoring me and Ian. Right, I see it on the video. That's terrible. No, but I do want to get into your take on it because it's a necessary evil for me. I hate it. I hate social media, but you've got to have it. But I don't know. Let's get into it now. If you don't, what is your? I know you're the same, but what do you? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you find it a necessary evil? How do you I just tolerate it. But you tell me. What do you think?
I was just on the phone. It's such a good question. I was just on the phone with my manager today, actually, and I was like, because she's like, hey, I sent you something. We're doing some on my website, joyvilla.com. I have a link about facts about coronavirus because it's a huge issue right now.
Yeah.
I am an opinion leader. My fans, I call my Joy Tribe, are looking to me to be the calm in the storm because people are just freaking out, and I'm in LA.
Oh, yeah.
You're in New York. It's crazy out there. People just don't know how to handle their shit. So I have the facts about it from the CDC. It's just very basic. Wash your hands. Isolate yourself if you're sick. Listen, most of us are not going to die from it. Everyone's going to be okay. But take precautions. So I shared it to my Twitter, and it got a really good response. But my manager's like, I didn't see it on your Instagram. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I'm not feeling Instagram. Like, I'll go where I'll post 3 times a day, and then I'll go where I won't post for 3 days. But that's kind of the limit because people will think I died. People think I died if I don't post in 72 hours. Communication that I have with the everyday man. Like President Trump uses Twitter, and I use all of them. I actually love Instagram. It's my favorite because it's pictures.
Instagram is fun. Instagram can be fun. That's out of all of them. That's probably the most fun. I don't have Twitter anymore. I got rid of it. I was just getting pissed off all the time, and I didn't need to be. But I totally agree with you. But when you set that standard that I have the tribe. Mine's the Tonto tribe. I got the Tonto tribe. They've been there. Oh, they're awesome. They're awesome. Tonto tribes. We got 2 tribes going on.
Joy Tribe and Tonto tribe.
That's awesome. But when you set the standard, though, that you're going to post every so often, you're right. If you don't post, so if you've already set the standard that you're going to post every day and a half, you're kind of stuck. You're stuck. You can't change it. Yeah.
I try to post every day, and then when I do post, like, videos do really well. And Instagram actually limited my account on doing lives. I used to do a lot of live feeds. Censorship, which my new song talks about, freedom, fight for it, which is talking about the censorship, and a lot of us. I know you face censorship as well.
Yeah, a couple of times here or there. Yeah.
I remember that. Oh my God.
Yeah. Me and Jack at Twitter didn't get along very well at all. No, him and I we're not buddies. No, not at all.
I mean, it really is a necessary evil. It's a way. It's free publicity for us. It's a way to get the word out, right? People can watch the videos that we do. They can listen to this podcast and know more about me. But everything I have is on my website, joyvilla.com. It's so important for independent artists and business people and patriots like ourselves to have a website, a hub where the fans can go. And my website's updated a lot.
You're awesome, and I just do as much as I have to. I even tell Ian, even with our podcast, I'm like, Ian, you take care of it. I don't want to do this shit today.
But I don't do a whole lot of it either. But it's the same thing. You kind of have to just feed this beast. In that, for Joy, you have new songs out. You got to let the people know. We're doing new things. Chris is teaching tactical courses, and it's just a way to get the word out. But all of this stuff, we've talked about it before. It's really designed to be addicting. So just
it is.
Get out in the real world.
The dark part of it is that a lot of people, especially women, I talk to a lot of girls around the country, will like base their self-worth on it. You know, 14-year-old. I remember when I was 14. Incredibly difficult time. I was so vulnerable. I thought, I didn't know what was going on. I remember when I was 12 and I'm tall, and I remember the first time someone looked at me as a sexualized object, and it was so weird and it was like I was wearing shorts and this guy honked at me. I was walking my dog and I was like, I'm 12. You know what I mean? I was almost 13, but I was tall. And now I'm thinking, when I still look like a girl, but now these girls on Instagram are 12, 13, 14. They look like they're 5. And they're playing to that. They're getting the augmentation because they got rich parents or crazy parents. They're getting they're doing the Kylie Jenner stuff. And I'm scared for this generation in that way. But also, I didn't have this sense of self-worth from online. So I just was like, whatever, that's their problem if you look at me like that. But then I was like, okay, 13, 14, 15, now I'm supposed to be cute to boys. I'm supposed to date. How does that work? And I was just a total nerd in school. I didn't date. My first boyfriend was 18. That was my first kiss. So I was a late bloomer. But these girls now, it's like common to just be wearing booty shorts, and it's online, and this stuff is there forever. And there are a lot of pedophiles out there. So it's
oh my God. Yeah.
So that's what I hate about social media. There does need to be more of parents protecting young boys and young girls and stopping the over-sexualization of children and young adults. It's just too much.
Yeah, and that it's good for you to get out there and say that, because coming from me, it's not going to do a damn bit of good. Coming from you that have actually been through that, and you say, there is a time when you're ready and this is what you're doing, this is where your profession is, okay, but you still have to be responsible leading up to that point. And I agree with you on that. And I have an 11-year-old daughter. She doesn't have Instagram. Nope. There's no Facebook. Nope. She doesn't. No. And she's a beautiful, and also because of what I used to do, and I do have threats.
Yeah, I know you do.
I've never show a picture of her. I wish I could. She is the most beautiful little girl. She would have had growing up when she was growing up just teeny tiny. She would have been the baby Charmin. She was that, but
angelic face.
Oh, she does, and she's turning into a beautiful young lady. But again, nope, you are getting. I know what kind of creatures are on Facebook and Instagram. I know the dudes that are. I don't want to say I'm friends with them, but I do know some of those crazy alpha male dudes that are those stalkers on Instagram. Like, no, you are not getting on there.
About, liking and following these accounts. I mean, many of these accounts are just pure porn too. And oh, look at me cooking, like bent over booty shorts, like nothing but hot, look at me, like, look. And listen, I am a highly sensual and sexual person. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up. So part of me is like, I'm very free spirited, and I get in trouble all the time for that, for just being like, hell, rhymes with bucket. And I'll be like, wear something sexy. But I also on the other end go, there are young girls watching me. There's families that follow my account. So in some way, I just try to keep it in the middle to where I'm not sacrificing my freedom, but then I'm not leading kids astray, because I don't want a young girl to copy and think, oh, I can do that because Joy Villa does it,
Yeah.
But I would hope it used to be parents would tell the kids no, just because, Whitney Houston's doing it, or Beyonce, or Britney Spears doesn't mean you do it. My parents don't have no short skirts, no skirts above the knee. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to wear short skirts when I turned 18. I was like, yes.
Well, that's society. Well, I'm glad you're taking that responsibility too, because I watch my mouth a lot more too. When I first started doing this stuff, and I was just leaving the CI. We've been fired from the CI. What am I saying? Am I leaving the CI? But I still had that F-bomb this, F-bomb that, this, and I had to, because I've got young kids coming up to me, and believe me, Rangers, we still cuss and I have a potty mouth, but I do. By
the way, secretly,
but I am more. I watch it more. I do feel more responsible. And I'll go, of course, being a father with my kids too. I don't want whether he's a Ranger or not, some guy cussing around my 4-year-old boy or my 11-year-old girl. My 15-year-old boy, I was in Iraq most of the time he was born. Most of the time he was growing up. So he heard daddy F-bombing this every time I came home. So I feel for my 15-year-old. I love him. He's as tough as nails. But he even said yesterday, he said, Daddy, you're not mean at all to the other two, as you were to me growing up. I'm like, yeah, he's probably right.
Oh,
but I get.
You're retired from it, and now you're like.
Oh, I'm reaping what I sow. Definitely, I'm reaping what I sow more than anything. But Joe, I so happy to hear you say that, especially with our listeners out there, and that you do have to find a happy medium though, because you can't be something you're not. Where hey, I'm just straight A, I got a halo on, because people are going to see right through that. They're going to see through that.
People see through it, and honestly, I get the haters, I get death threats, I get people who are like, this account is too much about you. Every time I post a fitness shot, which is like, I'm sorry, you went at Joy Villa. Like,
what did you expect?
You think you were? It's about me, And I'll post when I'm looking good, I'm looking sexy, but I don't do the really hypersexualized, because people can get so stimulated by it, because we're in such a porno society. It's okay to be sexual, to have to do things, but like, where are we drawing the line? We used to be like, okay, this is clean cut, this is television, this is family friendly, this is personal, this is adult. Now it's just all adults. I feel like there's no safe place for families anymore. And hey, I want to have kids one day, and I want my kids to be able to watch my movies and listen to my music and see my interviews without cringing and be like, oh, there's mom with her vagina out. You know?
Oh my God. So,
I don't want that.
Yeah, I get that. I was going to say, Chris, you know, we even talked about on the show with Ryan Weaver, you know, beyond just like the hypersexualization, then there's the human trafficking element, and human traffickers are on social media and they are looking at this stuff.
Oh, I fight, you know, I've donated a lot of money and a lot of time to fight human trafficking. It's one of my pet causes, and I work a lot with Citizens Commission on Human Rights because there's a lot of like doctors and psychiatrists that are drugging patients and taking sexual advantage of them. I work with Operation Railroad, Underground Railroad. Yeah. I've done things with a lot of different places, and I'll tell you, it is modern day slavery. It is so common. And one of the biggest ports that people are coming through is Florida. And I have family in Florida, Miami. And people don't even notice because these girls just look like whatever, but they obviously take it and they're underage. A lot of kids, a lot of underage girls and boys. And people around are just, we're not caring about others. We're not noticing. We have to, if you see someone in distress, make a call. What's the worst that could happen? You offend someone. What's the best thing that could happen? You save someone's life from a life of degradation and pain and hurt. And a lot of the places I work with get these girls and rescue them after the fact. Like they've been professional, you know, prostitutes, but like they didn't get any money. They've been abused, sexually abused since they were sometimes 12. How are they going to work now? How are they going to assimilate to a normal society? They have so much trauma. So that's another thing, is like getting these girls back into a normal job so they can have families and get remarried. And I'm proud to say that a lot of places do that, especially Operation Underground Railroad is one of the really best out there.
Well, there's more out there, and
there's a lot.
It is tough with travel, and I know you travel a lot too. A lot of airports, Joy. It really is hard to I try to keep an eye out for it. I'm not being Mr. Captain America, nothing like that. I just you just stay diligent. That's what my job was for so many years. It just is second nature now. It still is. I have never, to be honest, I've never seen where I even inclinated that, man, she must be in trafficking. She must be getting kidnapped. It's I don't know. I don't know the precursors, what the indications are, and I look for it. I've never seen it. That's how secret it is. That's how good it is. The good at they are. The criminals are.
Well, it would be somebody who usually they're a foreign, you know, like like Asian or Latino, because it depends on what area you're in, but they're usually of a foreign, and they don't speak much English. They look very subservient. They look very young. There's usually a guy with them who's much older, who's sort of telling them what to do, like very you know, controlling and
aggressive.
There's really this, very aggressive. And there's usually this feeling something's not right.
Yeah.
Like something looks odd, right? Something looks weird. And many times you'll see the girls like in the bathroom and they just downcast eyes. And, you know, even if it's just like having the phone line, I don't know what the line is, but there's a line for help, you know, like Vegas Airport has that in the stalls. Just knowing that line and saving it in your phone and just being like, hey, do you need to call someone? And just checking in with the girl, if you're a girl, right? Or if you're a guy. And then maybe just calling and being like, hey, I saw this person, is what they look like. I think this might be true. Hey, I remember we used to report drunk drivers like that. I would be that. Yeah. Citizens have to keep an eye on each other. I'm not saying that, like, you know, everybody should be attacking others or like looking for these things and to go crazy. But if you see something, say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joy, I mean, you're in LA, I'm in New York City, and there are so many spots on every block if you're aware of it. I mean, there are 24/7 massage places like on every block here in New York City. There's a lot of it going on.
Yeah, there really is. There is so much of it. And a lot of these places think, oh, well, they're of age and they're just sex workers. Could be. Or they could be trafficked. They could have their families threatened, their lives threatened. Could be underage. They could have been in there since they were underage. They know no other life. They're withheld from being able to. Yeah, it takes nothing to call the cops and just be like, hey, listen, I just want to report a tip. I have a weird feeling about this. This is what they look like. You know, please look at it, because I have a strong feeling that this is a human trafficking victim.
That's good. Well said. I'm glad. That's what I wanted to hear. I see. I'm terrible at leading. I'm not a good interviewer at all. I don't know how to lead into questions. You just took it. That was awesome. Just took it. Good.
Got it. I got you back.
You got it.
You know what I wanted to ask you about, Joy, because they're who hooked us up with you, and we're glad we're getting you on the podcast. Is our friends at Thadia who sponsored this show. I'd love to hear about how you hooked up with Scott and are a part of the brand.
Because I don't even know that he did. I have never know. I didn't even know you were part of it. I think you were part of it for a few months before Scott said, "Hey, yeah, we got Nate and Joy." I'm like, well, when did they come? Where did that come from?
So, we talked about this, So I love the brand. I love the workout wear. It's really great stuff. Pro America and really good. It feels good on the body. So I forgot how Scott and I connected, but I remember him saying, like, listen, we'd love for you to be one of the faces of our brand. It's pro America, pro military, pro, servicemen and women. And my dad was in the Army. He was military police Army. My aunt was a captain in the Marines. I have cousins who were in the Air Force. But I almost joined the Navy when I was 18.
Oh, you should have. Oh, that would have had some stories.
I scored really high on the ASVAB. They were all about it. And then the coding, I was really good at the coding thing. And I was just like, I'm an artist, though. It would have been fun, though. Next lifetime, right?
Next life, yeah.
Yeah, but I love military, and I've just grown up respecting military and police officers and service people. And so the fact that, it's Thadia, I call it Thadia.
I see. That's what I'm telling you. Scott he changed it on us again. Scott, I know you're listening to us out there. I thought it was Thadia too, but now it's Thadia.
I did as well, and then Scott sent me the live reads once we started working with them, which I have right in front of me, and it's Thadia.
Thadia.
Joy, don't be upset. I just found that out last one too. I've been saying it wrong for 2 years. 2 years. Holy shit. So okay. So don't feel bad.
Be one of the faces of Thadia and really support amazing, especially because Nike had their blow up. They've always had blow ups, and it's so politicized out there, and Thadia's not, but it's run by really good, honest, trustworthy people. We're not using sweatshops and all this BS and shoving things down your throat. It's just like good workout wear, and for a fitness girl like me, that makes all the difference.
It's huge. I tell people I don't get any nipple chafe from their stuff. And as a guy, especially since you don't wear sports bras, at least I don't. I have big enough boobs. But that was the cue to me. I used to wear the compression stuff. I'm not that. But it's still form fitting on a guy. And what I love about Scott is he will listen to me. If I say, Scott, this isn't working, we need to change this up. He'll fix it. Awesome. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, and fantastic.
He's easy to talk to. You're right. He really loves the brand, and he has heart and soul, which is really unique and different. So
it is. He just said twang when you talk to him. It's that Southern twang.
That's Southern twang.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah.
I'm done talking to you. I always got to tell you I'm done talking because I haven't figured it. He hasn't figured me out yet.
For the audience, it's also just the fact that we're all not in the same room, which hopefully will be soon. But no, I did want to hear about all that and also just your background in fitness. And it's cool to hear everything that you've been a part of here. And you know what? It's probably one of the few interviews where we didn't get so much into politics. We pretty much didn't get into politics at all. But I mean, I know that you're heavily supporting Trump in this next election. Absolutely. I don't know if there's anything you want to say about that as we wrap things up here.
Yeah, go ahead, Joy. Hit it.
Yeah, well, this president has done amazing things, and this whole little bit of an economy slump and this coronavirus thing is not going to keep him down. He's handling it well. He's been handling things, excellently. The First Step Act is incredible. It helps Black and brown people, who are locked up, especially for like petty crimes, nonviolent crimes. It's going back in, and that my friend actually worked on that. And the fact that this president voted in, and he's the first Republican or Democrat president in history to effectively have a bill, vote, and like get it in and implement something to help with prison reform. And everyone's been talking about it for a long time, like in this modern age, because we need that. So he's got so much heart, and I do believe the country's in the best hands with him sailing the ship because he listens to us. And I know him personally, I got to say, I got to brag a little bit. He's a kind of, badass, not for administration. they're working bent over backwards to help us and for the American people, not for their special interests or lobbyists and all this other political stuff. That's why I voted for him. Like he made me a Republican. I'm a Trumplican. You know, otherwise I would have just been like apolitical. I was independent for years. I voted for Obama. I walked away. I became a hardcore Trumplican because he says what he means what he says, and he's got the statistics to prove it.
There you go. I'm not a politician at all. Politics. I got out of that shit 3 years ago when I was done with this. But I got no issues with. When I look at myself and I look at what's going on with my family, doesn't mean I'm being selfish, but this is how I rate a president if I'm not deploying anymore. So I'll just look how are things going? How's my 401k doing? How's my investments? And that's, you can always tell if the president is helping with the economy, and this is going to fix this virus. This is a catastrophe. It ebb and flow.
Incredible.
But when the economy's, that's when I know president's doing well. And whatever else is going on, I mean, that's look at this. That's how come Bill Clinton got reelected. We had a good economy. We had a strong economy. Whether he was, because he was having sex with an underage and having.
Well, not underage, not underage.
Was she not underage? She was adult.
No. Sorry. Then he'd be in jail.
We don't know about the Epstein thing. He wasn't.
Yeah. No, that would be a different thing to get into. If we're talking Monica Lewinsky, not underage.
Okay, Ian always corrects me so we don't get blasted on social media.
Or so we don't get sued.
Or sued. Ian's right there, but. Again, that's why he got reelected. It wasn't and he was very charismatic, but the economy now, and Trump's doing outstanding. I mean, I'm just looking at my own stuff, going, "Holy crap!" And I don't invest money in 401ks that much anymore because I'm terrible. To me, it's like gambling, even though it's not. But I'm like, my gosh! And under Obama, 8 years, nothing. And the stock exchange went up the whole time. No, there was no change in my SEP, my 401k, and under Trump, and without even investing anything, it's gone up. I don't know, $16,000 in 3 years. I mean, holy crap!
Wow.
Well, that's.
We're going to Vegas.
Well, yeah, we'll go to Vegas together. Why don't we just? You know what? Just bring the Purell. I'll bring the toilet paper, and we'll be good to go. We'll be set.
Nobody there right now. Cheap flights. I mean,
cheap.
Nobody wants to leave their house.
And that's why I'm not worried about the Battleline course out there, because the coronavirus doesn't like gunpowder. I'm gonna be shooting the whole time anyway, so I should be.
Yeah. If everything goes down, I'm coming to your guys' place. You're real men. Military men, everything's okay.
You're awesome. Hey, we're gonna do one more. Okay. We're going to do one. I was going to do it while you were talking about Thaddeus, but I couldn't find the break-in. Do one flex picture because I want to post the flex. Will you do that?
Yeah.
So we got one flex picture with the shoulder. I want to tell people about the shoulders. Yes. Got it. Hold on. Make sure I got it. Yes, perfect. Here, I'm going to send it to Ian. Make sure he likes it because that's what we'll post.
I'm sure it's going to be fun. No, Joy looks great. And as I said, I really had no idea that Joy was that fit until, Instagram and because of Thaddeus and everything. So it's at.
For the likes. Just kidding. I do it for the.
It's
Thank you. I'm pushing really hard too these last couple of weeks because I want to compete again. So.
Nice. Good
luck to you.
It's at Joy_Villa on Twitter. At Joy Villa on Instagram, joyvilla.com. Which, by the way, I apologize for saying Joy Villa before. I don't know why I thought that, but much like the Thaddeus thing.
Italian, but we pronounce it the Italian way, so a lot of people can Joy Villa.
Hey, one more time, your new song coming out. Go ahead. Before we end up, I want people to know where they can go get it. You said it. Let's do it one more time.
My newest song is called Freedom, Fight for It. It's available on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever fine music is sold, Apple Music. And you can also find it at joyvilla.com. Check out the new music video. It's featuring Flint Bedrock. He is an awesome pro-America artist as well.
I have to say, this was a really fun interview, and I think it showed people a different side of you. Because I do feel like, it's just like Chris when he comes on places, he gets pigeonholed with just the Benghazi stuff. You get pigeonholed with just.
I was like, here we go again. And it's so delightful because I talk about politics all the damn time.
Exactly.
One aspect of me, but I have a new movie coming out, and a TV show planned, and more music, a new album coming out. I've been writing every day.
I want people, the positive women like yourself, because there's so many women. A ranger buddy of mine, his name's Joe Espino. He has a daughter. We were in Iraq together. His daughter's growing up, graduating from high school, and needs role models. And like yourself, she loves Tommy Lauren. She loves you, but that's what I want people now. Screw the politics. How did you get to where you are now, and how have you become successful, even though you've been through obstacles and things? And so I want to have you on again. I want you to talk about obstacles you've overcome and things like that.
Yeah, I face a lot of obstacles people don't know about it.
And we need to talk about that because they need to hear from a good role model. Yeah, and young women need to look up to you.
In next month, I'd be happy to do it. You got AJ's number.
You got it.
Yeah, we'll do this again, and hopefully you can help us get the word out. We're only 19 episodes in, and for us, honestly, this is a huge guest, so we really appreciate the time.
I love you guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll tell Scott, let's do some more stuff with it.
Thaddeus. We got it. I know. My bad too.
Great interview with Joy Villa. Really appreciate her coming on. And for us, it's a really big get. With that, Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring they receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as direct online through fortscottmunitions.com, FortScottmunitions.com. Use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order, only available to listeners of the Battleline podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline podcast. Also back on for this episode, Hero Soap Company. I love these guys. No chemicals, dyes, or fragrances. No parabens that are found in common soaps that link to breast cancer and reproductive complications in men. Veteran-owned, focused on veteran charities to build housing for vets in need. And for all subscription purchases, they will match the amount of soap and send it overseas to a deployed location. The subscription is shipped straight to your door every month, so no worries of running out. Dudes always run out of their products before buying new stuff or getting more. No contract. Cancel at any time. Let freedom clean, as they say. And I've ordered several different scents now. And not only do I, of course, love the peppermint plus cool, which we both love, the cedarwood charcoal, that is like the manliest scent now that I've tried it. That, if you want to smell like a man, that is the one to go with. I love it.
I have that one. Actually, I did the wood one. The woods felt like I was cleaning myself back at the barracks after getting out of the field in Fort Benning, Georgia, in the woods. I was like, I smelled it like, oh my gosh, I'm back in the Army. And that's not a bad thing. That's like getting out of the woods and you're filthy as hell. And all of a sudden you clean yourself. It was like that smell. I had flashbacks opening up that wood smell. It was awesome. And again, I didn't smell like a foot that had just come out of the field in the woods. It reminded me. It reminded me of being back in the Army and getting clean after you've been in a week on a bivouac or been week doing operations or out at the range. Oh my gosh, range battalion out the range for a week, and you're coming back and you haven't washed except for maybe a handy wipe wash on your taint. and I mean, I washed. It's awesome. Awesome. Like I said, the peppermint, I love that cooling feeling, but I've just tried the woods. I have the other ones. I haven't tried that charcoal one. It'll be the next one then after I'm done with the wood scent. But guys, I highly recommend that soap. It's fantastic. And you guys that have served out there, I'm telling you, these scents, and read the descriptions, he's spot on. It will remind you of times the good times when you're in the military. It will remind you of, like, oh my gosh, I just went back to basic training the first time I came out of the woods, and like, oh my, how good that felt. And you remember, and I smiled. I opened up the little case and I smiled. I'm like, so I just
think that cedarwood charcoal is such a manly scent. If if I find a woman using that scent, she may be on HGH, to circle back to something we said earlier.
Yeah, women, don't get on that male hormone therapy. Okay, stay off that male hormone therapy stuff. But I'll try that charcoal one next. And how he does the packaging.
Oh,
I always
awesome.
love, because it does. You buy something, and especially something like that comes in the mail. I don't know if you're the same as me, Ian, but I am. I'm looking at, it feels like Christmas, right? You got that package at your doorstep.
Oh, I love it.
You open it up. Oh, yeah. And the packaging is incredible. But the soap works, and they're clean. And especially with everything going around nowadays, you got to have a clean soap.
Yes.
That stuff will stop the coronavirus if you wash yourself. Let's put that way.
I don't want us to get sued for, you know what it is, because there's people out there now saying that they have like cures for the coronavirus, and they're getting sued.
We're just talking about soap in general. We're just talking about the soap.
Yeah.
But it's not a false statement. It will stop it didn't say it would cure it. I said it would stop it on yourself if you wash yourself with this soap. But then, as being said, that all jokes aside, the soap is outstanding. Actually, that wood scent is incredible. I'm telling you, all you veterans out there that have been through basic training in Benning or Jackson or Fort Lost in the Woods or in the Marine Corps, you've been in the woods, you're open up that soap and be like, oh my gosh, I just had a flashback of when I was a new boot. It was awesome. I smiled. I smiled and I washed myself with it. And I'm going to go take a shower again. We're going to get done here.
Well said, man. And you know what I have to say? I love the CEO, Lucas. Great guy. And I spoke to him on the phone at length. And he really believes in what we're doing and is against a lot of the political correctness going on. And that's why he's glad to be on a podcast that does things that are a little bit on the edge at times. He told me he likes that, and we appreciate it from him. So please support them. And if you do the subscription, you're also supporting veterans who could use soap as they're deployed. So herosoapcompany.com, offer code Battleline for 15% off. And you can combine that with the subscription for 10% off. herosoapcompany.com. Offer code Battleline. We'll be back on Monday, guys.
Hey, brother. Hey, one thing, Ian. Can I tell you one thing?
Go for it.
Me off here. Hey, guys, if you're getting Fort Scott munitions, if you're ordering from Fort Scott right now, it's no joke, they are backed up. There's just been a massive order. And those of you who have gone to the stores, Cabela's, Bass Pro, you've seen it. Walmart, when they used to, they don't sell ammo anymore. But the stores that sell ammo, they're gone. 5.56, 9 mil ammo. So Fort Scott also, it's good for them. Hey, their business is doing great right now. But if you are ordering, there's going to be a back wait, about a week or so before you get your order, because they're just been overwhelmed with ammunition orders. So I just want to put that out there so you don't get disappointed if your order's a little late. I think that's probably how it is with all ammunition manufacturers right now. But just FYI, and just be patient.
Yeah, thanks for putting that out there, man. All right, see you guys on Monday.